Hi, today I'm going to talk you through how to finish preparing a component that you've just taken off either your table saw or your jointer thicknesser and get it in a state where it's ready to do some fine joinery with. This is a piece of pine and I'm going to use it for demonstrating some table rail to leg joints in another video. Roughly parallel, roughly flat, and the edges roughly at 90 degrees to each other. For DIY use, that would be fine, maybe for lumber for building a house or just knocking up some shelves in the garage. But for fine work, we need to make sure that all these surfaces are lovely and flat, opposite surfaces are parallel to each other, and the adjacent surfaces are at 90 degrees to each other. So the first thing I need to do is to run a plane across the whole surface. And you'll hear that the plane is missing, and it's missing on all the low spots that are there. So then we're getting a full width shaving all along there. So it should be relatively flat. Try that on the bench and that's very good. Now I'm lucky enough to have a number 8 plane, and as you'll see it's as long, in fact a little bit longer than this component, and that means that when I've planed a full shaving off the whole length, I know pretty well that that's going to be flat. Many woodworkers may just have something like this, number 4.5. Clearly we can only be sure that the area for the length of the plane we're using is absolutely flat. So having taken a complete shaving off that piece of wood, do check that it's flat and that it won't rock like this. If it's rocking and you've got a bump in the middle, then you simply start planing in from one end and finish before you get to the other end, just lifting out on the cut. Keep doing that until your piece of wood will rotate on one end and the other, like so, rather than rotating in the middle, like that. Then set your plane a bit finer, take a couple of through shavings the whole way, and you should be flat. Use a straight edge. In most cases, a good steel rule, quality steel rule, will be flat enough, but a reference straight edge is best. And check with that again that we don't have any high points. We should be flat across the width as long as our plane, or our plane iron, is straight and it's as wide as the component we're preparing. This is now my face edge, and I can prepare everything else with reference to that. So I need to remember that, and I put a little mark on it. Now to prepare the edge next to that, it needs to be at 90 degrees. So we'll place our stock on the edge we've prepared and just check along there for any light. And clearly that's come off the planer pretty good. It's just very slightly higher here, so we're seeing a little bit of light come through on the opposite edge. So we just need to take a slightly heavier shaving from this edge. If you've got a curved blade, you can move the plane over a bit and use the angle of the curve to take a heavier shaving on this side than that side. I'm prepared straight with this one, so what I'm going to do is take a shaving missing out one edge, which will automatically give me a step function in this, and then I'll take another one working off that step function to get to a flat area. Now I'll check that with my tri-square. Now I've got a little bit of light here and a little bit of light there, and it's touching in the middle, and I can run my plane straight through the middle now. Check again, and that's reading flat in the centre and all the way up there as well. So we've removed the inconsistency. We're now at 90 degrees. There are a few little skips along there, so we'll take some full width shavings, and that's looking good. Double check. That's perfectly square to the first edge we prepared. I can check that flat now against my bench, and that's super. Just rotates on the ends, and we'll mark that like so. Now we have to prepare the opposite sides. We use a marking gauge to do that. We'll find, running the fence of the marking gauge off either of the two sides that we prepared, and we want to find either the dimension that we're preparing the stock to, or if we want it to its maximum dimension, just find the minimum width that you have along the length, and then mark that with the knife all the way around the component, working off the one face. Make sure you keep the fence up tight against the prepared edge. Now have a little look at how wide the material is between the knife line and the rough edge, and in this case it's slightly thicker on this side than it is on this side, so we'll take a shaving off that side, then a shaving right through the whole width, recheck, and then just keep taking shavings until we approach the knife line. Checking here, the one stroke has made a slight difference, but we're still slightly more to remove on this side than on this side, so we'll take another stroke from just on that edge. Then while riding on the slight ridge we've created in the middle, taking a look now, we can see we're very close to the knife line at this end, a little bit further away at this end. And if I look on the other side of that edge, we're close to the knife edge here and further away here. So we need to remove a bit more material in this corner and in this corner. So we'll start the plane just in this corner, move to the middle, and finish off in this corner. So we're removing a little bit here, through the middle, and a little bit over here. Nothing from these two corners. Just check again, distance to the knife line. And I would say just a little bit more in this corner. So we'll start roughly in the middle, just removing material out to that corner. Now it's looking the same all the way around, so a through shaving, full width, and we're getting very close to the knife line now. Just double check all round. And you see lots of breakout now at the knife line, virtually all disappearing. Another shaving or two and we'll be dead on the knife line. Just check with the tri-square, that's lovely at 90 degrees. We know this is at 90 degrees because we prepared that just now. So therefore we know that this face is at 180 degrees to this face. And because we've measured, or at least we've marked out with the marking gauge the same width at both ends, we also know that those two faces are parallel to each other. I'll just take one more finishing stroke with the plane through there. And that's taken us spot on to the knife line. Repeat that process with the final side of the component, and then all we need to do is shoot the two ends at 90 degrees. And there we have a beautifully prepared component. I do talk through all the steps in preparing a component properly in a series of videos that you'll find on the YouTube, which cover these steps in a lot more detail. And hopefully, if you are interested in preparing really good components of exacting standards, you'll watch those videos as well. But this gives you a way of doing it quite quickly. My method using a straight blade and balancing on the ridge, that can be a little tricky to master to begin with. There's certainly easier ways of doing it with a curved blade, which I show in my other videos. And also you can use the lateral adjuster on the plane itself to take a thicker cut from one side than the other. But practice and keep checking with the tri-square, and you'll soon figure out which way works best for you.